about and nobody should. It's a problem.
At which you start planning to tax a commodity like coffee, especially from down there.
It's intellectually engaging.
The Constitution provides that the land must be registered under the customer tenure system, which is one of those that's recognized by the Constitution.
Ground Zero Season 2, live and syndicated on your public and national broadcaster, UBC, inspiring Uganda. Welcome to Ground Zero Season 2, a show that brings you in-depth discussion ranging from politics, health, finance, sports, and so much more. Ground Zero Season 2.
Hello dear listener, you are most welcome to this edition of Ground Zero. We are broadcasting live on 98 FM UBC Radio. We also live and clear on our sister radio stations UBC Butebo, UBC Western Nile FM and Magic 100 FM. We are also streaming live on YouTube, UBC Ground Zero. Allow me welcome you to this very important edition of Ground Zero, and I want to welcome you to UBC and all the stations that I've just mentioned. You're going to be part of the discussion on 776-511-426 and be part of this edition of Ground Zero. I believe it is a very beautiful day that the Lord has made, and we must be glad and rejoice in it. Ampaire Amon Butega is my name, and we are here to have another important edition of Ground Zero. Today, we are talking about something special and unique, and something that the country is giving its full attention, and the entire world. Many countries are coming, and nationals within the region, the continent, and elsewhere in the world are going to come here in Uganda and be part of our history and our present, but also to have this celebration done peacefully, but also commemorate the people that died in cold blood. I'm talking about Uganda Martyrs Day, which is always on 3rd June every year. In today's edition, we're going to see why we celebrate the Uganda Martyrs or the other martyrs elsewhere in the world, why they were killed, why should we celebrate them, and many others. I'm so much privileged that the person that I have in the studios, or the team that I have in the studios, are going to explain and give detailed information in this discussion. And by the end of this program, you're going to know why you need to celebrate the Uganda Martyrs Day. About 45 Ugandans were killed and executed by the then government, by the then King of Buganda. About 23 Anglican were killed and 22 were Catholic, and others, as we are going to see in the discussion. You might be there and think that there were only the old that were killed, and you, the young people, the youth, have no attachment to the Uganda Martyrs. We are having Saint Kizito, who was killed at the age of 14, having born in 1872 and killed on 3rd June in 1886. At 14, he said, I can give life for the sake of my faith. Allow me to introduce my guest, and later on we're going to say the topic that we have is Have Ugandans Lived to the Work of Uganda Martyrs? And in the studios I have Professor Ephraim Kamuntu. He's the Senior Presidential Advisor on Economic and Manifesto Implementation. But he's also the Chairperson Organizing Committee, Uganda Martyrs commemoration of this year, 2022. Professor, you can greet our dear listener.
Thank you very much indeed. I want, with love, to say good morning, listeners, and welcome to this program. Thank you.
You're most welcome, Professor. And I want to also welcome you, our dear listener, who is live on UBC and who is joining us live online on YouTube is UBC Ground Zero. And you'll be part of this conversation by calling 776-511-426, and you tell us what you think about Uganda Matters and what memories do you have? What do you think needs to be done, and all that. Allow me welcome one listener to welcome us to this edition of Ground Zero, and then we open officially our discussion of this edition. UBC.
Yes, UBC. I'm on. This is Juma from Busega.
Yes, Juma, I'm glad that you are part of UBC Ground Zero today.
Fully presented. We are ready for the show.
Are you aware that Muslims were part of the martyrs?
Yes, our prayer.
Are you part of the celebration?
But anyway, I will not be there. But my contribution will reach to them. We are having some contact number, so we are contributing as well.
We are glad.
Amen.
Wish you all the best in this discussion.
You too.
All right. Having heard from the other audience in the studios, I think we are set to go. Professor, most welcome to this edition of Ground Zero and to UBC.
Thank you.
I would love you to take us through the history of the Uganda Matters, what happened, if you can recall, or you have, of course, being an elder, you must have had more information than we, the young ones. And we believe that we can learn more. Some people don't celebrate Uganda Matters Day because they have less or no knowledge about the D-Day. What happened, Professor?
Oh, thank you very much. But let me put the discussion in the context. Uganda Matters Day commemoration 2020 this year is being organized by two dioceses. The Diocese of Fort Portal for the Catholic, and the Dioceses of Great Ankole for the Anglicans. These are 5 dioceses of Ankole, the original Ankole, out of which 4 more dioceses have been carved. The Diocese of West Ankole in 1977, followed by the Diocese of North Ankole, and followed by Diocese of South Ankole, and the last to be carved out is the Diocese of Northwest Ankole. So those are 5 dioceses organizing the celebrations this year on behalf of the Provincial Assembly of the Church of Uganda. And the Catholic Faith Fort Portal Diocese is the main celebrant. And they have themes. The Catholic theme is baptized and sent to witness Christ with love and hope. And the dioceses of Great Ankole, their theme is hope beyond affliction. These are great messages. Before I come to your question, these are great messages. And I want to give it context, moderator. This celebration this year is taking place after 2 years when they were cancelled because of COVID. So these themes reflect the kind of hope. You know, you have gone through affliction, you have hope for a better future. And for those in the Catholic faith, you can see baptized and sent to witness Christ with love and hope. And the celebrant have started, the celebration started. The Catholics started on 25th, and they will go on until 3rd June. The Anglicans started on 28th, and they will go on until 3rd June. Those are the peak day. So, coming to your question, you need to appreciate the fact that Uganda is deeply, deeply a Christian country. And if you have any doubt, even the motto of the country, "For God and my country," is indeed a reminder, a strong testimony of the importance of faith in the social, economic, and political life of our country. Ugandans believe in their faith. Consequently, coming to your question, that you had 45 Ugandans who were given a choice. They had been converted to Christianity, and they were given a choice to denounce their faith in Christianity or face execution. And they chose to be executed. Think about it. This is a sacrifice. It is an ultimate sacrifice of one's life for his faith. Now, you ask the importance of this. Well, this is counterfactual, but I can say it because the logic you can see. By dying for their faith and ultimately Kabaka Mwanga, Kabaka Mwanga who came, who was fearing that the new faith, the new Christianity would threaten the base of his power. Ultimately, he had to yield. And we can say by the sacrifice, these 45 Christians, that was the seed, the planting, their blood resulted in the spread of Christianity today. It is really wonderful. And I can argue that had they not died, maybe some of us would not be Christians today. That's the important we need to bring out, that by their ultimate sacrifice, they are martyrs today. And by that act, they have been canonized, elevated to be saints. And by that act, the Pope Paul the Sixth, in July 1969, visited Uganda. And you need also to appreciate this was the first visit of a pope on the African continent. And you can attribute this event to the sacrifice, these 45 Christians who became martyrs and indeed beatified. And today, Namugongo is a basilica. It is a monument for the ultimate sacrifice by these martyrs. I will, during the course of this discussion, having been Minister of Tourism, I will bring out the immense benefit the faith-based tourism as a project has done to this country. Uganda today, as a result of this act, is almost a Mecca. It is almost a Jerusalem. It is almost a Rome of Africa for the pilgrimage that trek to our country, and in so doing, bring our country on international scene. Look, moderator, this event is on our national calendar as a. It is also, of course, in the Christian calendar for celebration. That's the reason why we talk about Martyrs commemoration for 2020, and the themes both for the Catholic and Anglicans shows how grateful, how hopeful, how thankful we are to God for surviving COVID, and much as we missed the two, this year should reactivate our spirit in faith and should also reactivate tourism in the country. And I thank you.
Most sir, and thank you for that detailed background of Uganda Martyrs and why should Ugandans and the people of the world celebrate them. We have been joined by Father Charles Ogoe, is the Diocese's Pastoral Coordinator from Port Portal Diocese, is the new chairperson steering of the Committee for Namgongo Celebrations, 3rd June 2022. Father, you can greet our dear listener and
good morning, dear listeners. As they have said, I am Father Charles Oyo, not Obo, Charles Oyo, and I am the Diocesan Pastoral Coordinator of the Catholic Diocese of Fort Portal, and currently I have been given a task to chair steer all the meetings and the preparation for Namgongo. I thank you very much, and I wish you a wonderful participation and listening.
Thank you, Father, and we welcome you to this edition of Ground Zero. Without giving you seconds to rest, why should the Catholics join the celebrations of this year to commemorate the martyrs?
First of all, we begin with the understanding who is the martyr, so that we know why the other people, the community has to be involved. First of all, a martyr is someone who bears witness. And currently, we are in a season of Easter. And the season of Easter, we know very well that our Lord Jesus Christ, who came to this world and took the mantle to save us, died for us. He died, he was born, lived, and carried his ministry, and he was crucified and died, and he was buried and descended to the world of the dead. And on the third day he rose again. And as is now, we are preparing to celebrate the day of Ascension, that is tomorrow. And in this cause, the primary reason why we should celebrate the Uganda Martyrs Day, bear witness to Christ. Christ who came to save us and died for us. So that's the first. And secondly, is that the Uganda Martyrs represent, as a community, represent all of us believers, because their blood was shed, and which has become the seed of faith for all believers all over the world. So that way, we participate in that life of fortitude and life of sacrifice that these people were able to offer to witness Christ, so that their record would be also part of what would live in our lifetime. Number 3 is, for example, I've been in a lockdown for 2.5 years, and during this season, so many people have died. So many people have lost their jobs. So many families have had a lot of conflicts, and we have a lot of broken families, a lot of abuses of our children, as you have been hearing in many occasions at different places. And still now, there are people who are unemployed. They are almost like caged in their homes. Some of them don't have something to eat. So as a matter of fact, when this celebration comes, as a church, we open one avenue that people can come out of that kind of stressful environment and open their eyes to the heavens, open their ears to hear something that can give them a twilight of hope that they can live another day. And that being said, for example, for us as Fort Portal Diocese, we are given the task to animate the celebration, and animating the celebration with a theme, baptized and sent to witness Christ with love and hope. And this is very important. One is the line, we are the baptized. We are testifying our faith because we're people who have been baptized, and once we are baptized, we become children of God and children of the church. So this another step of celebration is that we are proclaiming our faith, that we believe in the Lord Jesus Christ, we believe in his power, we believe in his grace, and we believe in his provision. And then the other one is that our baptism does not only come to us, that we have it as a potential that we live with. It is something that puts us into the mission, that we must be able to witness that we have become. And one way of witnessing that we have become is our public celebration, that we can inspire other people that there is something special, that you can be part of our culture and part of our tradition. So that bearing witness as people who are being sent builds the strength of our proclamation everywhere. Now, take an example where we are right now. All the roads are now being decorated Uganda Martyrs. And just before I came, the Bishop of the Diocese, Right Reverend Robert Muhirwa, launched Walk of Faith. So right now, as we talk, we have people running on the road and participating in that race and creating an awareness of a great mystery about our faith and the power of God. So wherever they are running, people are asking, who are these people? And by asking, some of them will be able to be inspired to learn more about the Uganda Martyrs, which is very, very important. And now this witness here also brings that element of love. So one other reason why this day has to be celebrated, the Uganda Martyrs, is expression of love. We are, in our catechism, we are enlightened to see that our community is more than the physical world that we see. It's more than me and you. We have a community of people who are living on earth, and we look at this as a pilgrim church that is walking towards a destination. So in this kind of pilgrimage, if we're a pilgrim church and we're walking towards a destination, there are a number of stopovers that will bring us together as a community. Together, we build together community, and this community is built by love. So coming together to celebrate this day of the Uganda Martyrs is one way of consolidating our love for each other, our love for the Lord, and also one way of experiencing that special love that God has bestowed upon the world and upon each one of us. And watching the same path, we must have hope. We look forward to hope. All the celebration, as you see, the themes that we have, and the other of the Anglican Church, and the sub-themes people have been promoting, is one way that we can articulate openly and clearly to the entire cosmos that suffering is there, challenges in life are there, and we should remember that God has not forgotten us, and that God is not very far from us. So that being said, that after this time of lockdown, we still feel that there is hope, and hope is there. So the homily that the presider is supposed to preach, and the masses that are taking place now until that celebration, all the prayers are geared to see that there is a destiny, and the pilgrim people are on the journey, and the journey has reached somewhere, and that builds a hope. We fall down, we rise, and in praying and committing ourselves to the Lord now and again, we also consolidate our resilience, that we are a people, we can overcome things because our Lord Jesus Christ has done that. And if he has done it, therefore we can also do that. So that builds our hope. The dear presenter, in that sense, we have the reason why we should celebrate. And one thing that now I think I can add there, all this event is a spiritual event. It involves a number of things. One, it involves praying, Like those who are at church today, the Lord is saying, if you have any need, pray. Pray together. And the scripture says, where two or three are gathered in my name, I am in their midst. So there is really a trust and a belief that if we go, as we go to celebrate this day, God is going to be present to us in a very unique way. Not that he's not always with us, but this has been put in place that he's going to manifest himself in a special way. So now we are going to pray. And at the same time, when we are celebrating this day, we have a novena, which also goes there as part. And maybe one more is the sacraments, because we are going to have a celebration of sacraments, especially the sacrament of reconciliation. So many people are going to be renewed, so that by the time they return, and even those who are celebrating a little bit away from here by proxy will also get the same graces. Thank you.
Most welcome, and thank you so much, Father and Professor. Just to know, I have a very great team of guests that are going to break this down for us. If you have never celebrated the Martyrs, I believe after this very discussion, you're going direct to Namugongo. That one I cannot doubt. Professor,
Yes, sir.
take us through the arrangements, how far you have gone in as far as celebrating this year and the commemoration, since you are the chairperson organizing committee of this year. What should the Ugandans expect? What are we likely to have? And are there restrictions considering that we've been in COVID-19?
Yes. No, I want to thank you very much indeed, and I want to really thank Father Oyo. So the matters of faith, I can easily leave it to Father here and concentrate on the implications of faith to our earthly activities.
Yeah, true.
Now, in terms of organization, you have been seeing on the TV and then the radio, and I want to thank you, BC, frankly speaking. You have really done commendable work
Thank you.
in promoting this effort. Even your own presentation shows a deep understanding of the evolution of these matters. But what is happening right now? The Catholic faith, you have seen from photo people have walked right now as I'm talking. I'm sure most of them are about to arrive. Similarly, the Anglicans, I saw people being flagged off from Bushenyi, from Ntungamo, and from Barara, all of them walking. And the organizing committee has been very busy for a very long time preparing for this occasion. We have committees that have worked on the venue, and the venue has been really prepared. As I'm talking to now, already activities have started and services have begun. There have been committee on protocol, ushering and hospitality. Hotels have been arranged and cards have been out and directions have been organized. Security committee as well. So the security of the occasion is in competent hands, because you have really, Uganda's security is guru. Then we have finance, resource mobilization committee, and I must thank everybody who has contributed materially and spiritually, and I must thank most especially the government and the president. And this is true. The president has supported both the Anglican and the Catholic with 1 billion for the Catholic and 600 million for the Anglican in support of the activities that are being done. We have administration and secretariat committee which is working on the details of the flow. Then we have transport and accommodation, and we have worship and liturgy. Maybe on this for the Anglican, I can say the Anglican, especially the region, Ankole region, which is a region, you could say it is the cradle of the revival movement of the 90s. a movement that inspired a spiritual revival. It had also a transformative element of hygiene and sanitation and economic transformation. It was something, and it made a difference in economic advance, in social advance of this region as a movement. And Ankole, which now is a lead organizing diocese or dioceses, because there are 5 of them, is fantastic. And they have a revival who is coming from Kenya, who will be the lead celebrant in Christian faith. And of course, the president is expected to be the lead person out there. They have committees on children, youth, mothers' union, and fathers' union. And we have a committee on pilgrims. You know, the pilgrims really add color. When, I don't know whether you take interest. If you take interest, see the composition of people who are walking as a renewal of their faith is amazing. I saw the NBS announcer leading the pilgrims from Fort Portal, just amazing indeed. Then publicity. In publicity, I want to commend UBC and all the media houses who have really brought this up. Then we have catering, people must eat, and medical camp. And the preparations are clearly in place. In the event, in the unlikely event that anybody falls sick, there will be facilities to take care of that. So in terms of organization, I can say confidently, this has been done. Of course, there are challenges. I can mention them. The challenges, when you have all these thousands and thousands, descending on a place, the questions which arise, first, the question of security, second, the question of hygiene, and hygiene and food, catering, and accommodation. These are challenges, but these are challenges are anticipated, and preparations have been advanced to handle them as they come.
All right.
So I want Ugandans to that indeed both the Anglican and the Catholics, who are very upbeat about this event after missing it for 2 years, indeed, they will do what it takes to make these celebrations a success.
Are you not worried of the overwhelming numbers since that we have not had this over 2 years?
No, in fact, we are saying because of COVID, because COVID is not yet over. No, and we are advising the celebrants and those who are coming to have masks, to make sure they wash their hands a little bit more frequently. But I can tell you our medical team has taken care of, and they have been consulting the Ministry of Health on precautions to ensure that this occasion is organized peacefully and without any hitch.
Interesting. Thank you, Professor. Father, can we have the other side of the Catholics? How prepared you are? What are some of your arrangements? How are you likely to receive the celebrants? Father?
Thank you very much. I'd like to thank Professor for being here and also for fronting this great work. For us on the side of the Catholics, as I said, this is how we are planned. First of all, we set committees, and I'll just wrap them. We have the liturgy committee responsible for helping us to make sure we have a good atmosphere of prayer. We have publicity and communication committee that's enabling the whole world to be at par with what we're doing. They are able to help other people come on board in participation. They are also responsible for communicating whatever we are planning. We have the catering committee, people who are working on site, they have to eat. And we are prepared to, we are not feeding the whole congregation, But a few guests that will be fed for one reason, especially those people who are working and helping the people, the congregation to pray. We have also in place the construction committee that is preparing the place. And these are responsible for the structures, the tents that are supposed to be there. They are also responsible for repairs and renovations that are required before the celebration. They are also responsible for health and sanitation to make sure there are good, spaces for restrooms, bathrooms, and they are in the right place that when people are there are comfortable. We have also a health team that is responsible to make sure that the health of persons who will be there is taken care of. We are working with the Ministry of Health and the Uganda Catholic Medical Bureau, and Dr. Rach is leading that team. And we have also a very big team of nurses and doctors who are in fact reporting today. They'll be on the ground. We're also working with the health units that around Namugongo and the one of St. Angelina. That will be the command center for all the health services that are provided. And we're also very grateful that the government has also supported us through the Ministry of Health to provide us with the medication and the other services that are necessary. We have ambulances in place for emergencies in case there are people who need some help or have sicknesses or get trouble. We have also a pilgrim committee that's already active right now. As the professor said, we have had a very good send-off of pilgrims on foot from Fort Porter, and as we talk right now, they are approaching Mubende. So we shall have that grand entry on 31st into Namugongo, and we invite all you listeners to come and be part of this grand entry. But at the same time, this pilgrim team is responsible for registration of all the pilgrims who will be coming to Namugongo, keeping the record and also making sure that their welfare is taken care of. As I said, we are not feeding all the people according to our setting, but to make sure that we give support all the people who have come to pray. We have other committees, the Ushers Committee, which is responsible for controlling the congregation. And we have a number of them. They are in place and prepared. We have also another team of ushers who are supposed to be collecting offertory. You know, these days there are so many smart guys who appear on the road. So these ones, we have them. We shall provide their names and their identity on that very day. And we have also protocol. And protocol is working with security to make sure that people are taken care of. So we have a protocol committee responsible for seating arrangement, allocating space to different categories of people. But also this protocol is working the security. So we have the Inspector General assigned the CSP Cohens Alenaitwe, who's working with us to make sure that there is security and is connecting us with all other security agents.
Okay.
And then finally, we have the Finance Committee, which is responsible to facilitate our activities. So now that's how we are prepared, and we are really ready to receive our guests, and all the people will be coming from different places.
All right. I thought the Finance Committee is responsible for collecting the money from the celebrants.
That's just one element of the big work. They have a lot of work to do.
Okay. Before go further, we used to see to be celebrants at Namgongo, and when you as do celebrate and what?
Yeah, thank you very much. We know very well that Nyerere was a very devout Catholic, Christian as such, and made a lot of contribution towards the support of the church and even his own practice as a person. And when he died, there was a desire, because people are living with him. They were anticipating that this man must have been a very wonderful man and can be canonized a saint. And so that process started. They have made some proceedings and submitted them to Rome. But here there is a tricky part. The Uganda Martyrs, when we are in the church, we have different types of feasts. I hope you'll give me time. I just show how this one comes in. We have what we call the solemnities. These are great feasts of the church, like the feast of our Lord Jesus Christ, like Easter and Christmas, and the feast of the apostles, Peter and Paul. We have the feast of the Blessed Virgin Mary. They are Pentecost and other. These are feasts of first class. Then we have the other feasts that come in a row are called feasts. These are solemnities, but these are feasts. The feasts are the second degree of the martyrs or the witnesses or the apostles or the saints. And these are, we include some of the feasts of persons and some of the feasts of martyrs and the virgins and the other category. Then we have others we call the memorials. They are also another degree, the third degree of the feast. And all these are feasts of martyrs that have been canonized. And then we have just commemoration or remembrances. So in the degrees of the proclamation and the celebration of these feasts, Nyerere is not yet in any of those ranks. So we cannot have a feast and call it a memorial or a day of someone at a national level like this and the celebration at Namugongo, unless this person has reached another level of declaration, either the servant of God or is there as a saint. So this feast is not supposed to be, we don't have it as a Nyerere's Day. But we know on this day, the Christians of Tanzania and the Christians here come together to remember him. And the public has been somehow misled because it takes a center stage as if Nyerere is a saint. And Rome has been very strict on that because that will jeopardize the process of declaring him a saint. Otherwise, people want to declare him a saint as yet. So that very day is celebrated in a low tone as just we are remembering Nyerere, but not that Nyerere Day. It cannot be Nyerere Day when, as if he's standing parallel to the Uganda Martyrs. All the celebrations these days come and converge around the Uganda Martyrs.
Okay, I understand that. I was about to go to Namugongo to celebrate that.
Yeah, but on that score, I just want to thank my colleague, Father Oyo. I can only share with him that we in the public, and recently there is a Nyerere Foundation and Professor Kabwe Jere, whom you know only too well. He is on the member of that Nyerere Foundation, and he gave a very brilliant speech on the day, all demanding that Nyerere should be a saint.
And also the president was fronting that.
Yes. Anyway, well, we thank him because on matters of faith, I think he's more qualified to guide us on this one.
I wanted to get your opinion on, you must agree with me, or you agree with me, that there is a percentage of Ugandans who don't believe in Christianity, but would love also to be part of this history-making event.
Yes.
What is the relevance of this day to Ugandans? What is the relevance of Namugongo as a historical site? Does God or the country of Uganda or the people of Uganda benefit from this day?
Okay. Yes, let me share with you why Ugandans should celebrate this occasion, because this occasion is not only for us to renew our faith and promote peace, unity, tranquility, love, but it is also an opportunity for our country to maximize the benefits of this occasion. You don't need to be a rocket economist. This occasion attracts more than 3 million visitors from within and outside Uganda will be coming to Namugongo. All these will be being transported, they will be fed, they will be accommodated, they will be entertained, there will be guides to guide them. All that is money being spent, and our calculation is nearly $200 million could be earned on this occasion. Just think about it. These people who come, there is a lot of what you would call multiplying from the arrival of their faith. There are multiplier which multiply into economic benefits of all sorts of people, transport, accommodation, food, entertainment, and so on. And souvenirs and mementos. That's one. Second, because Uganda is a tourist destination, so we talk about faith-based tourism products. So if you put faith aside, you can say this occasion looked at as a faith-based tourism product will reactivate tourism which has been hit by COVID for the last 2 years. This is a great occasion, and the whole world will now be looking at Uganda, and by viewing Uganda, you will explore Uganda as such. You will see the freshwater lakes, you will see the mountains of the moon, you will see the source of the Nile, you will see all these wildlife endowments that Uganda has. Uganda is a country gifted by nature, and occasion like this one is a great event. And I would want Ugandans, frankly speaking, for whatever else you might have, you really must thank and commemorate these matters, because as a result of their sacrifice, all these benefits are coming to the country. Don't forget, at the beginning you asked me whether Ugandans have lived the expectation in faith. And I must say, this should not surprise you. Uganda's motto, a whole national motto, is for God and my country. If you are a Ugandan and you believe in that faith, and you believe in that motto, surely you must say, and you the numbers, you can't expect 100% Ugandans to be in line with expected faith.
True.
But the few who don't, should not minimize or detract the overwhelming majority who are really very faithful. I'm sure Reverend Father Oyo here, you would bear me witness, when I saw all those old people, and indeed, if you come to Namugongo, the challenges we have is indeed managing those big numbers and asking the assistance of the Ministry of Health to ensure that there is some screening, there is some SOPs being respected, and the organizing committee to ensure that waste management and hospitality is done. Other than this one, I would call on all Ugandans to heartedly welcome the Ugandans in commemoration of Martyrs Day 2022, because by so doing, you are not only spiritually nourishing the country and yourself, but also economically. This is an event we welcome very warmly.
All right. The work of Ugandan Martyrs, and in the studio is the economic and manifestation is also the organizing committee Uganda Martyrs Commemoration 2022. I also is the diocesan Fort Porto Dance and is the new chairperson steering of the committee for Namgo celebrations 3rd June 2022. And when we return in that next hour, we're going to receive your calls on 776-51426, and you tell us what you know, what you think, and what you love to be in order to have this day greatly celebrated, but also to commemorate the people who died for the faith.
Thank you.
And I pray that we don't go away.
This is Ground Zero Season 2. Stay tuned. We shall be right back.
This is The Link, bringing you information on important topics that affect your daily life. Only on UBC Radio.
Martyrs of Uganda, a group of 45 Anglican and Roman Catholic martyrs were executed during the persecution of Christians under Kabaka Mwanga, the then king of Buganda, from 1885 to 1887. The 22 African Roman Catholic martyrs were collectively beatified by Pope Benedict XV in 1920 and canonized by Pope Paul VI on October 18, 1964. Their feast day is June 3rd. In Uganda, every year, this day is observed as a public holiday and a holiday in the Christian and spiritual perspective. Have you ever taken time to know the names of the 45 Ugandan martyrs, 22 of whom were Catholic and 23 Anglican? The Catholic list includes Achilles Chiwanuka, Adolphus Ludigo Mukasa, Ambrosius Chibuka, Anatoli Kirigwa Joe, Andrew Kagwa, Atanasio Bazekuketa, Bruno Serunkuma, Charles Luanga, Dennis Sebugwao Waswa, Gonzaga Gonza, Javi Ramusoke, James Buza Abaliao, John Marie Muzei, Joseph Mukasa, Chizito, Luka Banaba Chintu, Matia Mulumba, Mbaga Tuzinde, Mugaga Luboa, Mukasa Chiriwa Noah Mawagali, and Ponciano Ngondwe. There were also 2 Ugandan martyrs of a later period who died in Paimul in 1918, Daudi Okello and Gildo Irwa. The Anglican list include Kakumba Mako, Rugarama Yusuf, Serwanga Nua, Mukasa Musa, Mbwa Eria, Mudu Aguma, Mwanga Daudi, Kaizi Chibuka, Mayanja Chitogo, Mwanga, Kadogo Alexander, Chifa Munyanja, Chiza Frederick, Kwabafu, Mubi Azalwa, Munyagabyangu Robert, Mwanga Njigija, Nakabandwa Danieli, Walukaga Nua, Waswa, Chiwanuka Giaza, and Lwachisige Mukasa. The 45 Uganda martyrs were persecuted and executed between 1885 and 1887, apart from Daudi Okello and Gildo Irwa, who were martyred in 1918. UBC Radio wishes you a happy Martyrs Day on June 3rd.
This is The Link, bringing you information on important topics that affect your daily life. Only on UBC Radio.
Welcome back. Ground Zero Season 2 continues.
Well, from that very short break, this is UBC. We're broadcasting live on 98 FM, UBC Radio. We're also live and clear on our sister radio stations, Butebo, UBC West Nile FM, Magic 100 FM, and we're also streaming live on YouTube, UBC Ground Zero. This is the right hour that you're going to be part of this conversation by calling us on 776-511-426. The number to call on is 776-511-426. Have Ugandans lived to the work of Uganda Martyrs? In the studios, I have Professor Ephraim Kamuntu, is the Senior Presidential Advisor on economic and manifesto implementation, and also the chairperson organizing committee Uganda Martyrs commemoration 2022. I also have Father Charles Oyo, is the diocese and pastoral coordinator from Port Porto Diocese, and is the new chairperson steering of committee for Namgongo celebrations 3rd June 2022. UBC.
Yes, I'm on. This is Kuma from Busega.
Okay.
I would like to send my regards and our regards to the whole Busega, to our clergy in the studio with you and you also as well,
All right.
for commemoration of Uganda Martyrs Day, which is coming on 3rd June. I have some area to get some clarification about the Martyrs Day. Earlier before, when I was still a younger boy, learning how our faith Islam, but the thing which I missed out was even among the martyrs, also some Muslims were among them. So up to now, I want to know their names and how they were killed, and all in all, because what I normally see, the organizing of Martyrs Day, always I normally see the Roman Catholic and the Anglican, in general Christian. Mostly they're the one who organize for that, and Muslims, they sometimes contribute in finances like that, and some few maybe also who go and gather and say their prayers together with them, the Christians. So I would like to know them, those saints from Islam religion. And finally, my congratulations is going to the whole, as a Uganda, religious leaders. Sometimes their voices, when issues concerning national importance, they are being squeezed, they are being given a hard time, and which is not good for me. I would like government to look into it. Uganda being a peaceful country, I've seen religion has contributed much. And you see, when these rebel issues are coming more and more, religious leaders step aside. You see, those rebels, they take long to evacuate away from the country. It contributed to the time when Joseph Kony was disturbing northern Uganda. What I can remember, Bishop Oluluga Odama, Gulu Diocese, he stood firm with the other local leaders within the churches. They could say their prayer. They could send their task force to make sure go and talk to these rebels, because they were our brothers. These are low people. And to this extent, it was not about using guns. So, as also they say, their rosary is very holy. That one is also their weapon. I believe, spiritual way, government, I'm crying to government, when matters going in a bad condition, never hesitate to consult opinion leaders like religious leaders. Because for them, they don't fight for the body, but they fight for the spirit. Those ones who are pouring blood, the spirits will go where?
Okay.
That's the only thing we have to make sure we consider. Thank you very much. Greeting to everyone traveling to Namugongo. Make sure you celebrate it. And business people, don't increase your prices of water, eating. Let it be the usual price you are doing, because now you are seeing others are coming from outside the country. You will increase some little money on it, which is bad. You receive that small money, it is a holy money, and it will. Thank you very much.
Most welcome. That was a good call.
Yeah.
To the business community around Namgongo, Nalia, Chuwale, Nti, that don't increase the prices, because these are our visitors and we should protect the name of this country. Make little, but remain blessed. 776-511-426, you'll be part of the conversation. Professor, should we consider other people who have died for the sake of faith, not necessarily those Uganda Martyrs who died in 1886, but have died after then? Should we consider them as martyrs, or martyrs were those who were killed during that time?
Yeah, thank you very much. As I mentioned, the matters of faith, I'm going to leave them to my co-guest, Father Charles Oyo, and he can deal with those ones. But where I wanted to chip in on your caller from Busiga is the issues relating to rebel activities, where voices have been raised, particularly from the religious leadership. He mentioned Odama and Konyi. You know, we appreciate deeply voices which preach and promote peace in their faith. They promote unity. They promote tranquility among the believers. And this is where Odama is deeply appreciated, because I'm sure partly as a result of his prayers, the war in the north that Konyi had launched is now a matter of history. His prayers worked, and we thank him. Second, it should be appreciated that waging war has some consequences you don't expect. Sometimes when you wage war, there are innocent, I can tell you there are innocent people who get affected even when they are not part of conflict. And that's where you should be very careful to promote peace. That's why we should learn from the past that, for instance, this government today, why most people appreciate it is for sustained peace, security and stability, for people to do their businesses without fearing of confiscation, of disappearing, or violent change of government. We pray and we join all those voices, both in the church and mosques, that promote peace, voices that promote unity and tranquility.
Okay.
And I agree with the concern that my brother from Busiga has raised. But as for the Muslims who died, together with the Christians, that one is recorded in there, and I leave it with my brother here, Faith, Father Charles Oyo. The question of Muslims, we know that this is a historical fact. They were also persecuted. But I leave this matter to my brother here.
Thank you, Professor.
Yes, sir.
Have you seen for the Muslims or and have not heard anything today?
First of all, from the beginning we talked about who is a martyr, because this in the Christian generally a martyr is someone who stands for truth, whatsoever situation. That's the general understanding. But from the Christian perspective, a martyr is one who stands for the truth, to bear witness to Christ.
Okay.
So that becomes a martyr in a Christian perspective. But we have to understand that we have the martyrs whose names have been defined and they are canonized. So these days has been a lot of work being done to make sure there is evidence that these are. It is also very possible that there are other martyrs who are in the cosmos, abroad, across the world, who qualify to this, but because we have not had the opportunity to make research about them so that we pronounce them or the church pronounces them, so they are there and mentioned, and we believe that they are there.
Okay.
So it's not that only those martyrs now who have been canonized are the only martyrs in the world, but these are the ones because the work has been done. Now, we also were in solidarity with the Muslims For example, we have been having meetings and we have representatives of the Muslim community also supporting us in this preparation in faith. But each of us, we have different perspective towards the sainthood and towards life after death. And I wouldn't like to go in that theory.
All right.
Anglican.
We see some believers beyond 86. Should we consider them as martyrs as well and celebrate them? Have you in any way considered them and we are celebrating them as martyrs?
Yeah, as I said, there might be so many who died after that period which you have said. But for us as a church, as an institution, there is a process that we go through to make sure that we have evidence. Where we do not have evidence, it is not accurate to say they are not or they are. They are when we have evidence, but principally we know there are many other people who qualify to be saints and they are known.
Okay. Father, you must be the Bible.
Naturally.
Actually, and
when it comes to an issue of social setting and political settings, my elder here, Professor, has a lot, would have more answers for that, but I can attempt to answer a few things. First of all, what do we mean by obedience? That's very important, because obedience is compliance with an order or a request or a law or submission to another authority. That's number one. So that's obedience. So we know that as citizens, we have the obligation to obey the government, and the government has the obligation to obey God. So it's not only one way that we obey the government. Now, during the dynamism of social relations, we find that there is conflict of interest. Someone is given the authority bestowed upon him as a priest, but he can choose to disregard God and take his own way. In this sense, he has lost sense, and if I refuse or I come and stand in opposition of a bad behavior of a member of the clergy, then I'm not disobeying the priesthood or God. Similarly, in the government, if this authority is bestowed upon the church or upon people, presidents, ministers, and others, but remember that it comes from God, and God uses our own human nature. Sometimes we also have limitations. And if we have limitations and we misbehave, not according to the law, but according to what we are thinking, then the public have a right to hold us accountable and say what you are doing is in conflict of interest, and for that matter, we are not going to obey. Even for this government that we are today and many other governments of the contemporary world, they must obey God and we must obey the government. So if the government decides now to derail from obeying God who gave them the power, it has no right and moral authority to demand its citizens to respect the government when it's doing something wrong. So in that sense, the Uganda Martyrs were objecting to something that was accruing from the interest of the government at that moment, that were not in consonance with God who gave us this authority and power.
all right, Professor, as a good, I believe the Bible. I thought we ought who disobey.
Just listen to the logic Father Charles has given to you. If governments are installed by God, and by virtue of being installed by God, we owe them obedience. We obey them, they are installed by God. Consequently, if you disobey a government installed by God, then if I'm saying that logic would put you at a disadvantage. But he has also qualified it. If a government deviates from the God's expectation, what do you do? So these are matters of theology and religion. But what is the ultimate is the essence of government is protect the lives and property of its citizens. That's the reason why we have governments. So any one citizen who kills another, clearly the government has a responsibility to restrain you. The individual against overwhelming majority whose trust in government and in God is being challenged by one or two guys, that almost settles the case. You are in the wrong, you are apprehended, you are prosecuted.
Okay. This is another scripture in the Second Corinthians.
Yes.
That told by those in the spirit. So apart from faith,
No. Father Charles has really answered this one, because this question of were these matters rebels rebelling against an established authority of Kabaka Mwanga, and if so, how different are they from the rebels you see parading all over the world? That you provided the answer, and I don't want to spoil it. But coming to what we are witnessing right now,
yeah. The you an academician as well.
Yes. So what is the issue?
Should for this country, would for the sake of the people of Uganda?
Yeah, I have told you it's counterfactual. I have told you, I said, my goodness, for all those who are Christian in this country, and there are many, because we say Uganda is almost more than 90% Christian, and I'm telling them, had these people given the ultimate sacrifice of dying for their faith, maybe we who claim to be Christians might not have been. That's why you should appreciate these matters they did for the country is great. Not only that, look, the motto of the nation, for God and my country, this motto might not have been, and it is a fantastic motto if these people had not died for this occasion. And for this occasion, if I can summarize, my goodness, the benefit the country gets from this occasion is really huge. But the whole world is looking at Uganda in international relations. This is a rare benefit you could never get from public relations exercise. Never. Plus economic benefits of millions of people coming to see Uganda and bringing all this money, which the Busega guys was pleading for people not to overcharge. All that is a benefit of the sacrifice of these guys. Explore Uganda. Explore Uganda. Uganda is being explored as a result of this occasion. So I call on Uganda to welcome this and to be grateful and to renew their faith, because these people really walked. We need to walk the walk.
Uganda to promote this historical site.
No. Look, I have told you right now, the president himself and the cabinet and government has given 1 billion shillings this occasion, not mentioning the past occasions. This occasion alone, 1 billion Uganda shillings for the Catholic, 600 billion for the Anglican, and if you go to Namulongo here, the infrastructure that is being done by government itself, UNRWA, trying to improve the roads, electricity trying to be put in the place, and a whole infrastructure development. You just stretch back. Namgongo was just a bush, was a swamp. You go there today, you will see how much investment government has done, and infrastructure, both Catholic and Anglican. If you go to the Anglican site right now, a huge amphitheater is being constructed with the support of government. Government, don't forget, the president himself, I can say this for him, the president, Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, was a president of School Teacher Union in his youth at Ntare School. So even him, the faith in him, he owes it to these matters.
All right. I have
personal, and because you have provoked me, because I know really government has support.
Okay. UBC? 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 Your line? You can call 6511426 is the number to call, 776-511-426, and you'll be part of this conversation. I didn't pick some of the calls because we had Professor still talking.
Hello?
Yes,
I am Henry Baguma.
Yes, Henry Baguma.
Yes, right now I'm here in Namugongo, and I'd like to thank Professor Kahinto for his contribution.
All right.
But also, given his background in tourism as an expert, I want him to add something on tourism. How much as a country, when so many foreigners, Kenyans, British, Americans, I've also said some people from Congo, I saw some women from South Sudan. So as a tourism expert, can he give us an insight on how much the Ugandan tourism could be gaining from this, or how much are we strategizing to gain as a tourism center, Namugongo, plus that event itself becoming a tourism attraction? Thank you.
Before I let you go, Baguma, how is the mood at Namugongo? Baguma? All right, I've lost Baguma, but his concern was direct to Professor.
Yes, I can answer it. Right now, we expect about 3 million visitors. And from the region, people come from Kenya, Tanzania, Burundi, South Sudan, Nigeria, and Democratic Republic of Congo. Out of the region, a lot of people come from Europe and America, and those 3 million we expect this time will bring an estimated $200 million in the country. That's the estimates we have.
Okay.
And that, if you talk about foreign exchange, balance of payment positions, and the general question of Uganda being explored, the whole world. By the way, moderator, as all these pilgrims descend on Namulongo, with the technology that you have across boundaries of nations, all the world will be on Namugongo, will be on Uganda. If you compute the promotional expenditures countries incur promoting their country, this is an occasion in one soap. The country is exposed. The country is explored. This occasion is very extremely rare. So I want to thank Henry Baguma. I thank you, and we shall do everything. In fact, the tourism industry is looking to this occasion because the expected benefits
Okay.
from Martyrs Day are immense.
All right. UBC. UBC.
Yes, good morning, UBC.
Good morning to you. Your name and where you're calling us from?
I'm called Richard. I'm from Rubaga.
All right.
Yeah.
Your concern, please.
Actually, I have been listening, but I was a bit late.
All right.
Yeah, I have been listening.
Okay.
I thank God for this year. COVID has been interacting us for next 2 years. We didn't celebrate this occasion. I thank God for that. I have something to know, particularly about what Baguma was asking, but I'm not yet answered about it. I was trying to ask the same question he was asking.
All right.
Namgongo now of late been a historical site. I would have gone there as Ugandan. Baguma was clear that how much could the Ugandans pay as a tourist, or like me as a celebrant, will I enter there on the gate free or that for that day?
All right.
That is the first question. The other thing is the place might be very congested. You see, I would have been interested for that water also.
Okay.
I cannot get chance to enter there.
All
if
right.
I go on next day, will I still get it?
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
776511426 is the number that you can call and reach us on. Further, people are asking that shall people get the chance to access that water? Is there any we are going to...
Before I answer that question, I wanted to volunteer some information. One, as Professor mentioned, the President gave us 1 billion towards the request that we made. And out of this 1 billion, it is only 500,000 that is gazetted for the celebration at Namugongo. And making this clarification because some of the people who are supporting us were saying, but they gave you 1 billion and your budget was 1 billion, therefore you don't need money. So we're also fundraising for the cathedral renovation for 2 billion, but the president gave us 1 billion, and which we were supposed to share into 2 projects, and 500 million is the one which we have here. And in that case also, we appreciate the contribution of the government. As you have asked that sometimes people are saying the government is not making any contribution, and I think I would like to register that that's one. And 2, we have also been working with UBT, Uganda Tourism Board, in the preparations, and they have really taken a lot of interest. They also supported us, both the Catholic and the Anglican, with 98 million for public address system, which already expresses the interest of the government towards supporting, and they are also helping us to engage other government agencies, Ministry of Local Government, Ministry of Health, and also Ministry of Industry and Forestry and something. So we have been working with them. So we really see that the government is picking a lot of interest in supporting us. And in our discussion with them,
Okay.
we have also proposed that we have something permanent that we can work on. And now coming to the question from Richard from Rubaga. First, everyone is entitled to access the venue for a celebration for free.
All right.
Number 2, there are encumbrances that come with that. You know, there are very many people who are there. We are not eating on the silver plate.
Okay.
And if we are picking roses, they are thorns. So if you want to be there in time, come early.
All right.
Come early. Don't wait for the time. And finally, you know, the Uganda Martyrs had one characteristic that is overlapping, is resilience. If you want to get something, go for it.
All right.
Hello.
UBC.
Hello.
UBC. Yeah.
UBC, Stephen from Bali.
Yeah.
Stephen from Bali.
Yes, Stephen.
I'm contemplating the question of one caller who considered the Muslims.
Oh, yes.
And I was saying, where do we place them?
Mm.
And I'm trying to rationalize that. To think that if there is baptism of desire, I would imagine that maybe some research be carried out so that to find out whether these Muslims who died during that time have a desire to be Christians, and so they died because of the faith, or they died as believers in the Muslim faith. Thank you. Stephen from Harry.
All right. I have another caller. UBC. UBC. You can call us again on 776-511-426. Ephraim.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Also the church members, the Anglican and the Catholic, to opt for other either like sort of that kind.
Yeah. My colleague here will complement my response. Number of Namugongo is like me and Mecca is Mecca in Saudi Arabia. I'm sure this site is a site where prostitution took place of 45 martyrs, both Anglican and Catholic, and as such, this site has become it is, but in Uganda there are also other places of which are as two, and we have Kasubi is there, is part of UNESCO site. Mm-hmm. There are the Gobia historical sites, and if you go to, there are places like this one, but this specifically is because of the nature of the event. And I'm sure my brother here, you might want to add that, but I'm saying there are other places across the country where and see as tourist attraction, but this one is because the execution took place at this site, and it is the only site where these events took place.
Okay. If the club could, or the would have of dividing the ceremony and others to Mape, others to Kabaka's Lake, and overwhelming numbers?
I think it depends. Now, for example, we have already some other sites in Uganda. Now, for example, on the Catholic side that are already there, we have one in Fort Portal, where St. Adolf Tuberua, one of the Uganda Martyrs, is born. So we have a celebration there on 27th of January every year, and we're looking forward to that. We have also St. Andrew Kagwa. We have been there this morning, just here in Munyonyo. That's a place where he was executed, and his tomb, in fact, is there, right there. So there are already places, but if we can have as many as they are. But remember also, the population is increasing. The affiliation is increasing. The devotion is increasing. There are some people who will say, even now, if you got the social setting, he said, this was my father's house, my father's grave is here, I cannot leave this place. So still, you'll still have more people who will be coming, depending on the perspective and the mindset of what is being said. So the numbers, the issue of the numbers are going to increase, even if you create more avenues. But creating these avenues will be also very helpful, because some people will get that satisfaction from the nearby than moving a long way to Namugongo.
All right. First, I wanted to get your opinion. Do you think the Christians of this day have lived to the values of the Martyrs? I
would say yes and no. I would say yes is depending on what do we consider as important for matters. Just if I can run very fast. First, we look at the spiritual aspects. When you see people are standing, walking long distances, sacrifices, tearing their legs and their physical bodies, and they are coming to pray, and they are building that great hope that something great is going to happen and God is blessing them, there will give them a score. They are living the life of the martyrs of hope and faith. When it comes to social and other psychological responsibilities, they are standing out to bear witness. We have so many people for sure who are standing out for the truth, and they are working for peace. And you have read, and my elder here already talked about Bishop Odama and many others, Bishop Luum. All those people have been there to bear witness. So in that case, they are living that. And then the other one is also the intellectual assent to God's will. There are so many people who are also doing that. We want to protect each other, protect life, speak the truth, stand in opposition to any injustice that is there. In that sense, the Ugandans are. But on the other hand, we have also some gaps that are still there. Because I wouldn't imagine that the Uganda Martyrs would be celebrating when we have domestic violence in our homes. I wouldn't imagine the Uganda Martyrs will be celebrating when we have maybe opposition leaders or parties being oppressed. I wouldn't be imagine that the Uganda Martyrs will be happy when there is corruption. And I wouldn't also be comfortable to say that people are living according to Uganda Martyrs when we are cowardizing, not speaking the truth. And even sometimes when we speak the truth with the ulterior motives, we also adulterate the truth. These people were very clear. They stood for the truth and said it. So in other words, you can say, partly, yes, the Uganda Martyrs, our life is being visible in our life today. And also being here, because myself and Professor are Ugandans, and we are here speaking, making the voice to speak this out, talking about them, talking about their life, and showing the implication to the government, to the social setting, to our families. So already this is one evidence that shows that there is an impact that is being there. But also, in terms of our history, we are human beings. We have come to this world as part of God's creation. We have a history. And this history teaches us, builds our hope, our resilience, our courage, builds our vision for the future, knowing well that there is somewhere. Now, if you have people who have hope that there is a life after death, we can see, and you see that they are committed to work towards that. They are committed to make all the sacrifice it takes. So you can rightfully see that the Ugandans are living in the footsteps of the Uganda Martyrs. They know that their life is not ending in this everyday life. So when there is sickness, when there is war, when there is other impediments that befall us, we still have to look forward. And in this sense, we are living in the line of the martyrs. But even in that, on the other side, there are people who despair so quickly. Something happens, they lose their parents, their children, or they lose their jobs, and they give up. They run to drugs as if they are going to be helped. Others run to over drinking as if they are going to be helped. So in that sense, you will see that this category is not really living according to the inspiration of the Uganda Martyrs.
All right.
No, moderator, I just want to add, because you are very Ugandans lived their lives or walked the walk of the martyrs.
You're looking at those values.
Yes, so those values. But let's begin. These are people converted to Christianity first. Then they were challenged either to abandon their faith in Christianity or face execution. And they chose execution. So, to answer your question, if what they were persecuted for were their belief in Christianity, you want to ask, have Ugandans today
live to that?
Yes, live to the principles of Christianity. And I appreciate his answer. The Ugandans are faithful to their faith today. They are.
If we're going to
today
to of faith.
Oh yes, no, I'm coming to this. That's the essence of this question of matters. People who gave their ultimate sacrifice of dying for your faith, and their faith was Christianity. Consequently, your question invites the answer: do we have enough Christians in this country walking the walk of the principles of Christianity? I'm sure our father has answered it. They are
Professor.
Yes.
The government that again.
Yeah, no, this is historical, philosophical. The relationship between state and church is a long history. But as of now, the church and government, they share the same faith. Our motto is for God and my country.
Of the church, stop where the priests need to stop, takes over, because the president and the master leaders, there is a that
but that's the point he has mentioned to you. When you have overwhelming majority of Ugandans believing in their faith, and you have a small group deviating from that faith, you cannot generalize that Ugandans have not lived according to their faith. That's the point.
All right.
We are not saying it is 100%. No, that would not be true. But we are saying overwhelming majority of Ugandans, they believe in their faith. And that's why this country today is peaceful, is stable, and is the security of the country is handled. And if you go to Namugongo today, you will see ministers, people with a collar united in their faith, because that's really what brings us together for God and my country.
All right. Stephen called us some time back that are you sure that the part of the Muslims that died, what if they died, they had converted to Christianity? And listen again, you may call again and tell us what was the purpose of their death. Were they killed because they had converted to Christianity, or they died because they were Muslims? Is this
Yes, please. Okay, to me, what I've seen, I may not get my clear answer today. I'm going to do more research back to our Imam and Sheikh. They will get me the names of those matters, because now, let me wish everyone celebrating Matters Day with the peace, a lot of peace, a lot of grace.
All right.
Joseph were there, Vitos were there, the younger boy, but now Muslims faith. Yes, who are those matters? I wanted the name to be like those ones, such that we can
have been converted to Christianity.
Yes. The root of their issues was not clear. So I think faith is faith. Faith, whether it's converted or not.
Thank you.
All right. Indeed, we need to research about that, whether they died as Muslims or they died after they had converted into Christianity. This BBC, UBC Butebo, UBC West Nile, and Magic 100 FM. And we have another caller. UBC.
Yes, good morning once again.
Good morning to you. Your name?
This is Richard again from Rubaga.
18 seconds.
Yeah. This is to add something on my mind again. This matter, it is celebrate the one of Protestant and the Catholics. And what I was asking myself was, this one goes to the Father Oyo. I request him to clarify for us clear, what was the aim of the killing of those martyrs? Was it was Kabaka trying to ask them to believe in him, or it was all about Christians who have been killed and to them to join his religion?
All right. Thank you. We may not go beyond this. We have few minutes to end this edition of Ground Zero. I would give some minutes to a professor and father to round up this discussion. As you answer people's concern that did they kill them because they wanted to undermine the religion, or the Kabaka wanted to believe them to believe in him than in the faith. As you give this as we end the program.
Thank you very much. First of all, we know that there was a contention between the faith and the political ideologies. First of all, the Kabaka wanted to be respected and these people pay allegiance to him. Secondly, he was fearing of the coming of Christianity as if there was someone who was going to overthrow him. And thirdly, was also moral issues that these people were also protesting against some practices of homosexual aspect, which was not right. And at the end of the day, in the conflict of interest, the Kabaka felt threatened and wanted these people to pay allegiance to him, and also the traditional practices that were at that time. And these people refused, said, no, we are not going to do that. And then the other one, as part of the end of the program, I'd like to thank you, the host, and all the listeners for being with us. Welcome to the celebration, and we look forward to receiving you. God bless you.
God bless you too, Professor Kamuntu.
Thank you very much, moderator. And I really want to thank all who filled the questions. The matter this year we are doing it, and the themes for both the Catholics and the theme and with love and hope is indeed very fitting. Hope beyond for the young celebrations. It is to remind us that God of COVID, and we call to our faith, and out of this act we commemorate their day, and it has immense benefit for the country. First, it enhances our religious faith, and Uganda will be attracting 3 million rivals, earning $200 million US as a result of this act. It will also enhance awareness about Uganda as a country gifted by nature the power of Africa. It will boost with our tourism. We thank all Ugandans. We thank the government. We thank the president who will be expected to grace the occasion both for the Anglican and the Catholic, and our motto still remains for God and my country, and we thank you.
Just for and celebrate the Uganda Martyrs around it. Professor Kamuntu, chairperson organizing committee Uganda of this year 22, and Mother Diocese of Pastoral is the Porto and is the new chairperson steering of committee for the Mugongo celebrations 3rd June. It was so important having given and give this kind of knowledge, guidance, information about the as things of the spirit can only be understood by those in spirit as in the world. So I had to the matters, and indeed I believe that you and I have learned something in this edition. Now the spirit of the we have now the spirit of the world, but the spirit who is from God, that we may understand things freely given to us by God. I respect and I pray that all Ugandans embrace things that the Lord has indeed given us, and we call upon you on 3rd June, be part of this historical event. And at UBC, we always wish you all the best. Ampeide Amon Butega is my name. For good pray, I sign out.
That was Ground Zero Season 2, a production of Uganda Broadcasting Corporation, UBC, inspiring Uganda. It's hot.
We passed it. We didn't know exactly what the problem was on the ground. There is no pretending about the effect of this thing. There's no pretending about it. Nobody should. It's a problem.
It's balanced.
This is not the stage at which you start planning to tax a commodity like coffee, especially from down there.
It's intellectually engaging.
The Constitution provides that the land must be registered under the custodial tenure system, which is one of those that's recognized by the Constitution.
Ground Zero Season 2, live and syndicated on your public and national broadcaster, UBC, inspiring Uganda. This is Independent Sound. Take a walk of literature in the Journey program, a memorable walk of life into creative writing, arts, fiction, and non-fiction every Saturday from 12 to 1 p.m. only on UBC Radio.
Yes, indeed. Welcome to the Journey. It is dedicated to the world of literature, broadcasting live, broadcaster, that is 98 FM UBC Radio with me, Gobi George. A wonderful discussion on Ground Zero that we've been talking about, basically the matters. And like we had last Saturday, we continue stories and how it happened, and the stories that are featuring in the news. And this time they have written by the late Archbishop of Uganda, that is Dr. Livingstone Mpalanyi Nkoyoyo. That is on the Uganda Martyrs Museum. So you can still find time to buy that book because it's a leading bookstore. To take steps of the Ugandan Martyrs and to what happened. So we take to the Ugandan Martyrs where we stopped last Saturday, because this is a real story that has come to be captured. Ugandan Martyrs are that have captured globally, and it's what they are here on the journey as we try to see. And remember, it's going to happen next week. That's 3rd June. It's going to be a public holiday, of course. And some already arrived at the Namugongo shrines, both the shrines of the and the Catholic shrines, as they've been trekking long journeys. And some are coming from Kenya, that's DRC, Congo, and the countries, and of course the local pilgrims that are trying to and exhibited by the love of Christ. Kamutesa in it's had succeeded his father. About him, freedom of worship. Started at like it is said, had before he accepted, I will try people and he will give you any support you needed. Okay, so that technicality, but it's now sorted. Now, like I was saying, after the death of Kabaka Mutesa in 1884, his son Mwanga succeeded him, and Christians all over Buganda jubilated when he found out that he had succeeded his father. They were anxious about him in hope that he would grant them freedom of worship, because Mwanga himself had already started attending classes. Learning how to read, and it is said that Mwanga had promised the missionaries before ascended to the throne that when I ascend to the throne, I will love, he said that when I will love all people and I will give what you needed, any support you needed. But this was all a blessing in disguise, because as soon as he ascended to the throne, he abandoned like a chameleon more attitude towards Christian and on his promise. This was when and offertly they were locked